Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are fine, and in this video we will talk about sodium and water retention. Excessive retention of the salt and its obligate associated water can lead to edema by increasing the hydrostatic pressure because of the expansion of the intravascular volume and reducing the plasma osmotic pressure. Excessive salt and water retention are seen in a wide variety of the diseases that compromise the renal functions, including the poststreptococcal glomerulonephritis and acute renal failure. देन यहाँ पर उन्होंने बताया हुआ है edema is easily recognized on the gross inspection. Microscopic examinations show clearing and separation of extracellular matrix elements. Although any tissue edema most commonly is encountered in the subcutaneous tissues, lungs and brain. Then subcutaneous edema. Subcutaneous edema can be diffuse but usually accumulates preferentially in the parts of the body positions the greatest distance below the heart, where hydrostatic pressure are highest. Thus, edema typically is most pronounced in the legs with standing and sacrum, with recumbency a relationship terms dependent edema. Finger pressure over edematous subcutaneous tissue displays the interstitious fluid, leaving a finger-shaped depression. This appearance is called pitting edema. Then edema resulting from renal dysfunction are often manifest first in the loose connective tissue, means eyelid, are causing preorbital lymphedema. With the pulmonary edema, the lungs often are 2 or 3 times their normal weight due to the accumulations of the fluid, and sectioning show frothy, sometimes blood-tinged fluid consisting of a mixture of air, edema fluid and extravasate red cells. Then next term to be discussed regarding edema morphology is brain edema. What is brain edema? Brain edema can be localized because of the abscess or tumor, or it can be generalized depending on the nature and extent of pathological process or injury. With the generalized edema, the sulci are narrowed as the gyri swell and become flattened against the skull. What we discussed in the morphology we discussed about the subcutaneous edema, which was accumulated preferentially in the body part position greatest distance below heart. Subcutaneous edema is below heart and hydrostatic pressure is highest. When the other term dependent edema is displace the interstitious fluid and leaving a finger-shaped depression. And in the form of dependent edema, we will see another thing regarding edema, which is pitting edema. After that, pulmonary edema. In the case of pulmonary edema, the size of the lungs will increase 2 to 3 times. After that, we are talking about brain edema, which can be localized and which can be generalized depending upon the nature and extent of pathological process. If it is localized, it is easy to treat. If it is generalized, it is difficult to treat. Generalized edema, sulci are narrowed and gyri will be swelled and flattened against the skull. Effects of edema vary from merely annoying to rapidly fatal. Simply annoying to fatal. Subcutaneous edema is important to recognize primarily because it signals a potential underlying cardiac or renal disease. and acute respiratory distress syndrome. It can cause death by infesting with the normal ventilatory functions also. If you have any question, can ask me in comment section. Thank you so much.